Let me go see if I can get him off camera. Nothing.
Bobby.
Oh,
Girl bag. I've been working all day.
I know.
How you doing, Counselor?
See you next, brother.
Good afternoon, council. How can I help you, gentlemen? Mr. Land, council, good afternoon, sir. You're on mute, I believe.
I have Denzel Foot. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, Denzel Foot.
Yes.
Thank you. And we'll see if we can get him on the camera towards the top, if not first. Could I get your P number real quick, counsel?
Yeah, the other counsel was first, Your Honor, but my PIN number is P65879.
That's very nice of you. Thank
You
you,
can go
first
first,
counsel. Now I want to see paper, rock, scissors. No, I just kidding. Go ahead,
Judge, I have
Mr. Elder. Who
Muhammad-
do you have, sir?
I have Muhammad Hizam.
Thank you. Thank you both. We're going to call up DDC. We'll let them know that those two gentlemen have retained counsel to bring them first, and then we'll handle whoever they bring first out of the two. Sound fair?
Sounds
Okay,
good.
so
Thank you.
fine.
Excuse me? Yep, and Brother Counsel Elder, could I get your P number, please?
57728.
57728.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So these are the...
Number 8 and number 18.
Good afternoon, DDC.
Good afternoon.
We have two retained counsels that are present and ready to go on number 8, Denzel Foot, and number 18, Mohammed Hazim. If you could bring both of those gentlemen first, please. After that, at your pleasure.
Okay.
You said Hazim was what number was Hazim? Because they just handed me his phone. And he's not on
Number
my
8.
list.
Okay, number 18.
Oh, because that's why. We don't have the 18. You said Hazim?
Okay, well, yes, ma'am. Hizam is in Mary. It's Mohammed Hazim, Hizam. That gentleman, as well as number 8, Foot, Denzel Foot. If you could bring those two first, please.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
I need this Hazim. You going first because they have attorney. Hazim. I got it right here. Jesus.
You just have one counsel, Your Honor?
2.
We have two, sir. Number 8, Foots, Denzel Foot, and number 18, which my understanding is you don't have an 18, but that's the Mohammed Hazam, Hizam. So we have two counsels on the screen for those two gentlemen. After that, at your pleasure, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Foot, you gonna step on that white line, say your first and last name?
I see an M7.
Good afternoon, sir. Could you state your name?
Denzel Foot.
Thank you, Mr. Foot. Good afternoon. You're here for case 200611357, People State of Michigan versus Denzel Foot. Appearance, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ivan Land, P65879, appearing on behalf of Mr. Denzel Foot, who's on the screen, Your Honor.
Thank you. As to the
Stand
arraignment,
mute and
sir.
wait for formal reading.
Thank you. Court waive formal reading, enter a plea of not guilty. Counsel, Mr. Foot, the court's scheduling a probable cause conference that you must attend November the 10th, which is Tuesday, 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge King. That hearing, Mr. Foot, will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. Before you release, you'll get information on how to connect for the Zoom hearing, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Understood?
Understood.
Thank you. Not guilty is entered. As to bond, brother counsel.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Foot resides in Michigan. He was born and raised here. Very grateful to his family, Your Honor. He has no alcohol problems, no drug problems. He is employed. And, Your Honor, he's taking this matter seriously as he retained me 2 days ago. I thought his arraignment would be earlier, but he did retain me 2 days ago, Your Honor. And I would just ask for a $2,000 personal bond in this matter. Thank you. He's not a flight risk.
Thank you. And did he surrender himself, or was he taken into custody?
He was taken into custody. He had the gun was registered. He was had his girlfriend's, where his fiance's gun was. She's a CPL holder on him. So.
Thank you, counsel. Okay, thank you. Mr. Foot, this is a very serious felony allegation, sir. The court takes into consideration the information provided by your attorney, who's advocated, as always, very well on your behalf. The court considers your ties to the community, lack of criminal convictions, or capious history the court's aware of. The court considers the current epidemic facing the nation, as well as employment status, as stated by counsel, as it relates to ability to post bond. The court's unaware of any criminal convictions, prior convictions, or capious history. During this bond, Mr. Foot, you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon. Is that understood?
Understood.
Thank you. For those reasons, your bond is set $5,000 personal bond. Good luck, Mr. Foot. Good luck, counsel. Anything further?
Thank you, Your Honor. You and your staff and everyone stay safe. Take care, brother.
You as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Breakaway Alpha, third jump.
Aaron, dude.
Did you get the Huzzy? Come on, Huzzy.
Copy, proceed to that Alpha. What's the mask, brother? Yes, sir. Put your mask on. Step on that white line, say your first and last name, and take your hoodie off.
Would you break the law and I'll read for this? You need to state your name.
Muhammad Hazam.
Good morning, Mr. Hazam, or afternoon, I apologize. You're here for case 200613662, People State of Michigan versus Mohammed Abdul Majini Hazam, also known as Mohammed Hazan with an N. Counsel, your appearance.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Dorit Elder, appearing on behalf of Mr. Islam. My P number is 5772. We have the reading information. Stand mute, Your Honor.
Thank you. The court waive formal reading the information, enter a plea of not guilty. The court scheduling 2 court dates, sir. You must attend them both. Probable cause conference is scheduled for November the 4th, which is a Wednesday, 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge King. Mr. Hazan, you have a right to a preliminary examination the following Tuesday, November the 10th, 1:30 p.m., also 36th District Court in front of Judge King. Both of those hearings, Mr. Hazam, will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. If you're able to make bond before you're released, you'll get information on how to connect for those Zoom hearings, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Do you understand?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Thank you. Not guilty, please entered as the bond counsel.
Your Honor, Mr. Hadim is high school grad. He has college credits and attends Henry Ford Community College. While he was working, Your Honor, strong family
I
ties.
apologize, counsel. DDC, I think we're hearing some interference regarding a radio. If you could turn that down.
Got it.
Thank you. I apologize, counsel. Go ahead.
Born and raised in the state of Michigan, where his mother and father live here, and he lives with his parents, Your Honor. Siblings, all college educated. He has a sister that's a teacher, a sister that's an administrator, and a brother that's an entrepreneur. Your Honor, he was cooperative law enforcement. He was arrested, Judge, last week and timed out, Judge, where they released him. I have his passport in my possession, where it's remained. Your Honor, I was in contact with the APA, Anna Katigian, along with the officer in charge of the case. They instructed me, Your Honor, that they'll inform me upon a warrant, which they did today at about 12:15. And within 30 minutes, Your Honor, Mr. Hazim turned himself in. Your Honor, we knew the charges. I told him of the charges, but right before he turned himself in, Judge. So I think, established that he's not a flight risk. Your Honor, he had plenty of time to run if he wanted to run, and he never did that. He had 6 days head start if he wanted to. Judge, he's not a threat to society, Your Honor. This is a case where I watched the video. This is an individual that came to his place of employment with a hammer and with a screwdriver. And Judge, there's some words exchanged where my client felt threatened, Judge, and unfortunately, we're here today. Your Honor, he has no history of any type of criminal conviction. He has no contact with the law whatsoever. He has no addictions to alcohol nor any drugs. He does have asthma, Your Honor. I'm asking the court, Judge, to consider the fact, I'm sure the court understands that bond is not punitive, Judge. I know that the allegations are severe, but Judge, like I indicated, Mr. was very cooperative. Judge, I believe a bond of 100,000 or 200,000, Judge, would be sufficient in this case. And I'm asking the court to adopt that recommendation.
Thank you, counsel. Mr. Hazami, your attorney has advocated well on your behalf, as always, and the court takes into consideration the information he provided. And your counsel is absolutely correct, sir. This is not a punitive hearing. However, as counsel stated, this has a couple of folds. The court has to take into consideration the information ensuring that you return yourself to court. And based on the information provided by counsel, the court has little concern regarding your returning to court. The information provided by counsel that you were in custody, you were then released from timing out, and that you were made aware of the charges through counsel, and you surrendered yourself within the hour, as stated by counsel, to hear the charges, which are very serious assaultive allegations, sir, and you face a possibility of life offense on count 1, which is very concerning to the court. Given the information provided counsel, the court's unaware also of any capious history or criminal convictions in the past, and the court has little concern regarding your intention to reappear. However, the court has concerns regarding this protection of the public. This is a very serious allegation. It's simply an allegation, but it's an allegation where, based on your actions, another individual lost their life. The court also has to take into consideration, according to MCR 6.106F, the likelihood of conviction. And based on the information alleged in investigators' report and provided through the investigators' actions, the court has concerns and takes into consideration there is a likelihood of conviction, including but not limited to the court's concerns regarding you allegedly firing the shot that through bulletproof resistant plexiglass that allegedly struck and killed the victim, which is very concerning to the court. The court notes, as stated, you have appears ties to the local community. The court's unaware of any prior criminal convictions or capious history. The court takes into consideration that your employment status as it relates to the ability to post bond, as well as the current epidemic facing the nation. And the court has reviewed and considered the allegations and information set forth in the investigator's report and has concerns regarding the serious nature of these offenses, specifically count 1. During this bond, Mr. Hazam, as stated by counsel, you were to surrender your passport, and counsel has that in his possession, and the court satisfied with that. Mr. Hazam, you are not to leave the state of Michigan without permission of the court. You are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. And if you're able to make bond, given the concerns the court has placed on the record, you're to be fit with the GPS tether. Based on the nature of these charges, serious charge, specifically count 1, the likelihood of conviction, as well as the information alleged in investigators' report, bond on this matter will be set in the amount $500,000 cash surety. Anything further, counsel?
Your Honor, would the court consider 10% bond with that, please?
No, the reasons have been placed on the record for the cash surety, and the court placed the bond for the reasons placed on the record. The court started with a personal bond, sir, counsel, and the 500 cash surety is based on the information or the reasoning that's been placed on the record. Anything further?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck, counsel. Good luck, Mr. Hazim.
You'll get fingerprinted, man.
Thank you for your accommodations, DDC. At your pleasure, sir. Thank you. Counsel, those were the only 2 retained, I believe, that we're aware of. Do you know of anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Man, appreciate you guys.
All right. What is this guy at?
Claudia, would you like anything? You want a snack or? Okay. If you do, feel free to help yourself. There's that fruit, snacks, and then, do you know how to use the Keurig? You want me to show you real quick? Are you okay? You want anything? Okay.
The doctor said she said, I never had an apple cider without it. She smells some medicine that's been getting the
She got one. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please.
Dewey.
Your full name?
Darnell Finley.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. Sir, you're here for case 200613555, People State of Michigan versus Donnell Finley, also known as Donnell Finley. Counsel.
Yes, now, we're working on Mr. Donnell Finley.
Court waive formal reading on our plea of not guilty. We'll get court dates in a moment as the bond.
Fine, John, my client is a 37-year-old. Unfortunately, he's unemployed right now, but he also indicates that he isn't on probation in the world now. He understands that he has to stay away from Trista Williams, with no contact. Respectfully, Your Honor, respectfully ask the court for a person or reading the court.
Thank you, counsel. Mr. Finley, the court is scheduling 2 court dates, sir, that you must attend them both. Probable cause conference, October the 30th, which is a Friday. You have a right to a preliminary examination the following Friday, November the 6th, both at 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Jones. Both of those hearings, Mr. Finley, will be heard via Zoom. which is an off-site streaming technology. You'll get information on how to connect for those hearings if you're able to make bond, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Is that understood?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. The court considers the information provided by your attorney, who's advocated, as always, well on your behalf. The court is concerned regarding this allegation, which is a very serious assaultive allegation, and the court notes and takes in consideration your prior criminal convictions, which includes convictions, a number of convictions for an assault-related offenses, including but not limited to assault of a prison employee in February 25th on or about 2005, and assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder on or about December 11, 2003, and notes the age of those matters. That's concerning to the court regarding those prior felony convictions. Court takes into consideration your ties to the community, employment status as stated by counsel as it relates to the ability to post bond, as well as the allegations set forth in the investigator's report. During this bond, Mr. Finley, you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon, and absolutely no contact with Trista Williams. No contact means no contact of any kind. No contact orally, in writing, through a third person at their place of residency, employment, or through any forms of social media. No contact with Mr. Williams and no weapons, knives included. Understand?
Yes.
Given your ties to the community, lack of KPS history information placed on the record, bond on this matter will be set in the amount $5,510%. Good luck, sir. You're welcome.
This way, Philip. Go back to the front. Step on the white line, see your first and last name?
Good afternoon, Mr. Sturgis. One moment, sir. Mr. Sturgis, you are here for case number 200611356, People State of Michigan versus Raekwon Bontes Sturgis, also known as Raekwon Bontes Sturgis with the TS. Counsel. Thank you, sir. The court will waive formal reading of the information under plea of not guilty. Mr. Sturgis, the court scheduling a probable cause conference, sir. You must attend on November the 10th, which is a Tuesday, 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Giles. Mr. Sturgis, that hearing will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. Before you're released, you'll get information on how to connect for that Zoom hearing, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Do you understand? Thank you. Not guilty is entered as the bond of the counsel.
Full-time caregiver for his uncle and John. Lives with his grandmother, and I would like to take it down that he is full-time caregiver for non-assault allegations. We respectfully have to spoke for personal harm.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sturgis, these are non-assaultive allegations, but they are very serious felony allegations. It's very important you listen to the court, Mr. Sturgis, which has taken into consideration the nature of these charges, lack of KPS history or criminal convictions, the information provided by your counsel, as well as the alleged investigator's report. It appears you have ties to the community. Court's unaware of any prior convictions or KPS history. Court takes into consideration your employment status, as counsel states, relates to the ability to post bond, as well as the current epidemic facing the nation. Mr. Sturgis, during this bond, there's no use of alcohol, no marijuana, and no illegal controlled substance. You're not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And for those reasons, you'll be released on a $7,500 personal bond. Good luck, Mr. Sturgis. Listen to the court, sir. Hope it works out for you.
I mean, the female, after just Shazam.
Good afternoon. Your name, please.
This Yarbrough.
Thank you, Mr. Yarbrough. Good afternoon, sir. You are here for case number 200611036, People State of Michigan versus Leodonis Yarbrough. Counsel.
Yes, John. Frankfurt on Leodonis Yarbrough. I'm trying to waive instructions for the reason to understand the constitutional rights of the family.
Court waive formal reading and enter plea of not guilty. We'll get to the bond in a moment, or the court date in a moment. As the bond, sir.
Out of 63 years, we retired on Social Security right now. We have completed 2 years in college. Now I'm probation as well. We would like to know that the current mention prison might be condition, and we separately completely with please consider the long time, the strong time we have in the community, the age of respect we have spoken first of all.
Is that an ad? Yolanda? Did you bring this in here, ma'am? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Yarborough. The court takes into consideration a number of things. You have ties to the community, sir. The court is going to schedule a probable cause conference. You must attend November the 10th, which is Tuesday, 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Jones. Mr. Yarborough, that hearing on November 10th will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology, similar to what we're using today. Before you're released, you'll get information on how to connect for that Zoom hearing, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Yarborough, the court considers your information provided by counsel. These are very serious assaultive allegations. The court's unaware of any convictions or capious history in the past. The court takes consideration of your employment status as stated by counsel as relates to the ability to post bond, the current epidemic facing our nation, as well as the information alleged in investigators' report. Mr. Yarborough, during this bond, you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon, and absolutely no contact with Tia Janine Yarborough. During this bond, sir, that means no contact of any kind. No contact
Yes,
orally, in writing, through a third person at her place of residency, employment, or through any forms of social media. No contact with Tia Yarborough. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
And thank you. And you're going, Mr. Yarborough, if the court releases you on a personal bond, you're going to do just that. Have absolutely no contact with Miss Yarborough, no weapons. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And for the reasons stated, you're to be fit with the concerns the court has regarding safety of the public, or the Miss Yarborough specifically, you're to be fit with the GPS tether prior to release. Your bond is $10,000, personal bond. Good luck, Mr. Yarborough. You're welcome, counsel.
GPS 10%.
Yes.
Personal.
Crawford, leave her alone. It's $10,000 personal bond. Good afternoon. Your name, please.
Hello, my name is Michael Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. You are here, sir, for case number 200457761. People State of Michigan versus Michael Dwayne Dixon, also known as Michael Dixon. Michael Dixon, Michael Dwayne Dixon. Counsel.
Yes, Michael Dixon, my client wages right formally. Understand the Constitution, the rights, understand me.
Court waive formal reading and enter plea of not guilty as to bond.
He also indicated that he had confined assault conviction. He is employed on construction and painting and high school graduate. None on probation for all young. Although very applications
Thank you. Mr. Dixon, the court is going to enter a plea of not guilty and schedule a pretrial date, sir. You must attend October the 23rd, which is this Friday, 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Garrett. If you're able to make bond, that hearing is going to be heard via Zoom, Mr. Dixon, which is an off-site streaming technology. You'll get information on how to connect if you're able to make bond, but it's your responsibility to connect for the Zoom hearing on time, Friday, October the 23rd, 8:30 in front of Judge Garrett, 36th District Court. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Dixon, this is a very serious allegation, and it's an assaultive allegation. The court takes into consideration the information provided by your attorney. You have ties to the community. The court considers your current employment status as related to ability to post bond, as well as lack of criminal convictions or capious history, ties to the community. The court considers and takes consideration the current epidemic faced in the nation. And the information in the alleged investigator's report is very concerning, sir. It's alleged that you assaulted the alleged victim, who it appears to be at the time pregnant with your child, months pregnant with your child. And that's concerning to the court, Mr. Dixon, given the allegations of assault against that young lady. So these are allegations, but they're concerning, sir. Mr. Dixon, during this bond, you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And no contact with SAID given during this bond. And that means no contact of any kind. No contact orally, in writing, through a third person at her place of residency, employment, or through any forms of social media. No contact, understand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Dixon, that includes but not limited to not going to the premises or area. Do not go to the premises or area 5279 Linsdale, Detroit, Michigan. If you're able to make bond, you're to be fit with the GPS tether. For the reasons stated, your bond is 1,510%. That's a $150 bond, Mr. Dixon. Listen to the court, sir. Have no contact with Miss Given and make sure to make your court date. Is that all understood?
Yes, sir.
Good luck, sir. You're welcome.
Have a seat there, brother. Come on, bitch.
Good afternoon. Your name, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Dietrich Green.
Thank you, Mr. Green. One moment, sir.
How you doing?
I'm well. Thanks for asking. How are you? Happy to hear that, sir. Okay, Mr. Green, you're here before the court on case number 2004576, People State of Michigan versus Dietrich Green, also known as Dietrich Juan Green, Dietrich Ward Green, Dietrich Juan Ward Green, Dietrich Juan Ward Green with no hyphen, Dietrich J. Green. Counsel.
Yes, constitutional right to stand mute.
Court will waive formal reading and enter plea of not guilty. We'll get to the court date in a moment as the bond, brother counsel.
Lifetime representing program. Also, we take no further. Yes, college now, college grade, no probation, just have somewhere to stay. Actually, each one they are, they take him. Respectfully, I understand these are very serious allegations. And they are misdemeanors, they are committed.
Thank you. Mr. Green, the court is going to enter a plea of not guilty and schedule a pretrial date. You must attend November the 10th, which is Tuesday, 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Garrett. That hearing, sir, will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. Before you're released, you'll get information on how to connect for that hearing, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Green, these are very serious assaultive allegations, and they're concerning allegations against two individuals. One is appeared to be your younger sister, and the allegation of assault is on your mother. And that's concerning to the court, sir, and the allegations investigators report, something the court takes into consideration. Court also notes that the information provided by counsel, that there are no capious history or criminal convictions the court's aware of. You appear to have ties to the community. Court considers that your current employment status as it relates to the ability to post bond, as well as the epidemic facing the nation. The court's reviewed and considered the information alleged in the investigator's report. Mr. Green, during this bond, you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon. Do not go back to the area or premises of 18630 Shields, Detroit, Michigan. Understood?
Yes.
And during this bond, absolutely no contact with either of the two alleged victims, your mother or sister. No contact with Dominique Green and no contact with Barbara Green. And to be clear, sir, that means no contact of any kind. No contact orally, in writing, through a third person, through any family members, at their place of residency, employment, or through any forms of social media. You're to have no contact with either Dominique Green or Barbara Green. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And given the nature of the allegations, a serious charge before an information investigator's report, you're to be fit with a GPS tether prior to release. And you will be released for those reasons on a $10,000 personal bond. You're getting a personal bond, Mr. Green. Listen to the court. No contact with Dominique Green or Barbara Green. Good luck.
When am I get the tether though?
You'll get the tether before you release, sir.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Have a good afternoon.
You too, Mr. Green. Thank you, sir. Good luck. What's that? On the one that we already handled. Well, hold on a second. Look here.
I told her that was the administration.
Oh, I know they say that a lot. So if they do call you can let them know that it says live on the computer. Okay. I just want to make sure that we are live here. Okay. Thank you for your patience, and please state your name and good afternoon, sir.
Lamont Buffington.
Thank you, Mr. Buffington. Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Buffington, you're here for case 200-61354, People State of Michigan versus Lamont Andre Buffington. Counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Lamont Buffington. My client waives his right to formal reading, understands the constitutional rights and
Court waive formal reading under plea of not guilty. Mr. Buffington, the court scheduling 2 court dates, sir, that you must attend them both. Probable cause conference November the 4th at 8:30 a.m. You have a right to a preliminary examination November the 10th. That's the following Tuesday. That's at 1:30 p.m. Both at 36th District Court in front of Judge Giles. Both of those hearings, Mr. Buffington, will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. You'll get information on how to connect for those hearings if you're able to make bond, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Not guilty plea is entered as to bond.
He is on the long-term meds that Marcus Medical, if you appreciate it.
Could you mark his file medical, please, for the reasons stated, DDC? Thank you.
Unfortunately, Your Honor, these are very serious historical allegations, and we expect to have this court for violence by the court.
Thank you, counsel. Mr. Buffington, these are very serious allegations and assaultive allegations, and the court takes into consideration the information provided by your attorney, as well as the nature of these charges, which is very concerning to the court, and they're very serious, and the court takes into consideration your ties to the community, as well as the lack of capious history the court's aware of, or criminal convictions in the past. The court also takes into consideration the information provided to counsel regarding the current epidemic facing the nation, as well as your employment status as it relates to ability to post bond. And the court is very concerned regarding the allegations outlaid in the investigator's report, and that nature of the allegations and the extent of the allegations that appear to have happened over a lengthy period of time. And that's all something the court takes into consideration. Mr. Buffington, during this bond, you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You're not to go to the area or premises of 14481 Alma, Detroit, Michigan. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And you're to be fit with a GPS tether if you're able to make bond. During this bond, sir, there's absolutely no contact with Nicole Turner. That means no contact of any kind. No contact orally, in writing, through a third person, at their place of residency, or through any forms of social media. Absolutely no contact. The court also takes into consideration the age of the alleged victim, which appears to have been around the age of 10 at the time of these alleged assaults. And that's very concerning to the court given the nature of these charges and the information alleged in the investigator's report. For those reasons, bond on this matter will be set in the amount $350,000 cash surety. You're welcome. Good luck, counsel.
That's how much money you need to get out.
Hey, sit and see them.
Next one. Step in. Next one, step in.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name, please.
Cornelio Carter.
Good afternoon, Mr. Carter. Thank you. Mr. Carter, you're here before the court on case 20061-358, People State of Michigan versus Cordell DeJuan Carter, also known as Cordella DeJuan, without an A, Carter. Brother Counsel.
Now, Frank Bird on behalf of Cordell Carter, I'm trying to waive his right to form reading. Understand his constitutional rights to use.
Court waive formal reading under plea of not guilty. Mr. Carter, the court is scheduling a probable cause conference, sir, that you must attend on Tuesday, November the 10th. That's at 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Giles. That hearing, Mr. Carter, will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology similar to what we're using today. You'll get information on how to connect for the hearing before you're released, but it is your responsibility to connect on time. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Not guilty. Please enter as the bond.
He also indicated that he had one prior, hold on one second now. Sorry about that.
No worries. Take your time, sir.
He also indicated that he's a plumber.
A plumber?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
High school graduate, not on probation or parole, and,
Mr. Carter, this is a very serious felony allegation, sir, but as stated by counsel, it's not assaultive. The court takes into consideration the information provided by your attorney who's advocated well on your behalf. The court is unaware of any prior criminal convictions or capious history. The court takes into consideration the current epidemic facing our nation, as well as your employment status as relates to the ability to post bond and the information alleged in the investigator's report. Mr. Carter, it's very important, sir, that you attend that Zoom hearing on November the 10th, so you don't get locked back up just for not attending a virtual hearing. Does that make sense?
Yes, sr.
And so if the court were to release you on a personal bond, that is your complete attention is to the court date, and you have all the intention of showing up on time. Is that understood? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carter, during this bond, there's no use of alcohol, no marijuana, and no illegal controlled substance. You're also not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon. For those reasons placed on the record, serious nature of this allegation, lack of prior criminal convictions or capious history, and the epidemic facing our nation. Your bond is $8,500 personal bond. Mr. Carter, you're released on a personal bond. Listen to the court. Make sure and attend the Zoom hearing November the 10th, 8:30. Good luck, sir. You're welcome.
I need to write that down.
No, step out. We'll give you everything you need.
Mr. Carter, no, Tuesday. You got it.
Come back.
Play last and first and last line? Ready, Lane?
Good.
Thomas Hayward, Blandon Jr. For the Magistrate.
Good morning, sir. Mr. Blandon, you're here, sir, for case number 200-61359. People State of Michigan versus Thomas Hennard Blandon Jr., also known as Thomas Hayward Blandon. Thomas Hayward Blandon Jr. And your name one more time for the record, sir?
Thomas Hayward, Blandon Jr.
Thank you. Appearance, please. Thank you. The court waive formal reading under plea of not guilty. Mr. Blandon Jr., the court scheduling a probable cause conference, sir, that you must attend on Tuesday, November the 10th. That's at 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge King. That hearing will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. You'll get information on how to connect for that Zoom hearing before you're released, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. November 10th, 8:30.
I appreciate the attention, Mr. Blandon Jr. That's correct. Not guilty's entered. That's the bond. Thank you. Mr. Blandon Jr., the court is stated by counsel, these are very serious but non-assaultive allegations. The court considers the court's unaware of any capious history or criminal convictions. The court has reviewed the investigator's report and taken into consideration the allegations set forth therein, as well as the information provided by counsel. Your employment status as relates to ability to post bond and the current epidemic facing the nation are all things the court takes into consideration. Mr. Blandon Jr., during this bond, sir, you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon. And it does not appear you have a valid driver's license, so during this bond, sir, there's to be no driving as well, as you understand. No driving and no weapons.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Do you have a question? Please ask a question, because I want you to be clear.
No, I feel like I could probably find some transportation and work. That's all I'll be going is work to home, so I could probably do it.
Okay. Well, Mr. Blandon Jr., it's not a request, it's an order, and I want you to understand that. If you simply choose to drive to work or drive anywhere, that's a violation of the court's bond. And then you could get locked up just for simply not listening to the court. So it's very important you listen to the court in all aspects, and one aspect is no driving. You cannot drive without a valid license, Mr. Blandon Jr., and you are not to purchase a weapon, so you understood. No driving and no weapons. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Blandon Jr., for those reasons. Thank you. The lack of criminal convictions or capious history, the epidemic facing our nation, and your employment status as stated by counsel as relates to ability to post bond will be set $7,000 personal bond. You're being released on a personal bond, Mr. Blandon Jr. Listen to the court so you don't get locked possibly back up just for not listening. Good luck, sir.
You're
welcome.
This is my first time.
Yes, sir. No, that's good, man. Step it right now, first and last line.
Good
Quincy
afternoon.
Allen.
Your name, please.
Quincy Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Mr. Allen, you're here before the court on case 200-45766, People State of Michigan versus Quincy Allen, also known as Quincy Allen with an E-Y. Counsel.
Yes, now, Brandon Bird on behalf of Quincy Allen, fine, wait, Hey, Brandon, where I supposed to be going, man?
Court waive formal reading under plea of not guilty. Mr. Allen, the court scheduling a pre-trial date that you must attend November the 10th, which is a Tuesday, 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Garrett. at the 36th District Court, Mr. Allen, and that hearing will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. Before you're released, you'll get information on how to connect for that hearing, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Do you understand? Thank you, sir. Not guilty, Senator. Does the bond.
Social Security disability. He has an associate's degree. He does something from,
He's been approved for disability? Or is he in filing process?
I'm not sure. Would you like to walk him?
Yes. Sir, I'll ask a question, if it's okay. Just, Mr. Allen, are you currently receiving Social Security disability, or are you in the process of attempting to obtain it? Or are you getting those checks?
No, it's not Social Security disability. It's VA. It's disability through the VA, or VA benefits.
Oh, VA benefits. So you served in the armed forces?
Yes, U.S. Army.
Thank you.
Storm.
Thank you for your service, Mr. Allen. And so that's different. So it's not. So you're not. It's not money coming in disability. It's veteran services. Is that correct? What you're waiting on? So that's different.
No, they give me. They put my money on a debit card every month.
Thank you. I apologize, Counsel. Anything further?
He's not on probation of world, you know what I mean? We understand there's no contact with us at all. Especially this is the city, so application, you know, like consideration and misdemeanor, and he has served for our country, and we check that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Allen, this is a very serious assaultive allegation. It's very important you listen to the court and attend that Zoom hearing on November the 10th at 8:30 in front of Judge Garrett, 36th District Court. Mr. Allen, the court takes into the court takes into consideration the information provided by your attorney. You have, it appears, ties to the community, no criminal history or capious history the court's aware of. It's a very serious assaultive allegation, and the court's had an opportunity to review and consider the allegations set forth in the investigator's report, as well as the current epidemic facing the nation and employment status as stated by counsel as it relates to the ability to post bond. Mr. Allen, during this bond, you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon, and do not go to the premises or area of 7303 Auburn, Detroit, Michigan. Is that clear?
Yes, there's an issue with that though. Me and the victim, we live together. She moved out of the house. I got the house from Section 8 from my military benefits. She moved down the street like Fall, almost in the Dearborn.
Well, you indicated that she moved out, but she was residing in that address up until this allegation took place. Is that correct?
Yeah, she just moved in like the day
Which
before.
was yesterday. The allegation took place yesterday. So you're saying that she moved out sometime between yesterday and today?
She moved out the morning of the incident. She packed her bags up and took her TV and everything. She went back out to her
Allen, that's still her residency, sir. And so, okay, the court's striking that condition, but is stating this, Mr. Allen, you are not to have any contact with Amanda Pustelek. And that means no contact of any kind, no contact orally, in writing, through a third person, at her place of residency, employment, or through any forms of social media. That appears, listen, Mr. Allen, I want you to listen. That appears from the information the court has to be her residency. So the fact that she may have moved or went to a location yesterday, if she decides to come back or whatever, it's still her residency, sir. Though it may be your benefits that you're saying and you reside there, that's also her residency. So during this bond, until told otherwise, you are not to have any contact with Amanda Pustelek, P-U-S-T-E-L-A-K, through any form, no social media, third person, or at her residency. So if that's her residency and she's there, you'd have absolutely no contact. Is that understood?
Yes, I can go to my cousin's house. He lives on the other side.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. Allen. Thank you, sir. And for those and Mr. Allen, I appreciate you going to your cousin's house. And so at this point in time, the court's going to keep that condition of do not go to the premises or area of 7303 Auburn, Detroit, Michigan. Understood?
Yes.
Okay, and for those, and you have no issue complying with those terms, is that correct? You have no issue not going to that residence or having no contact with the alleged victim?
No, none at all.
Thank you. And Mr. Allen, no weapons or firearms during this bond. Your bond is set for those reasons: epidemic facing the nation, lack of criminal convictions or capious history, and given the allegations in the investigator's report, in the amount of $10,000 personal bond. You're going to be released on a personal bond, Mr. Allen. Listen to the court so you don't get locked up just for not listening. Does that make sense?
Could you please tell me what date that was again to show up to court?
That's a great question, and it's November the 10th. That's a Tuesday, second Tuesday in November. That's at 8:30 in front of Judge Garrett via Zoom.
Okay.
You'll get that information, but it's your responsibility, Mr. Allen. Show up on time. Good luck.
I will. Thank you. That's right, brother. Proceed now. 24. Yeah, except for that white line, said first and last line.
Aaron Diggs.
Thank you, Mr. Diggs. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, how you doing today?
I'm all right. Thanks for asking. How are you? Mr. Diggs, you are here before the court on case 200-45764, People State of Michigan versus Aaron Diggs. Counsel.
Yes, John. One word on behalf of Aaron Diggs, my client. Wait, is right. We understand the counsel. Right? Understand me.
Court waive formal reading under a plea of not guilty. We'll get to the court date in a moment. That's the bond. Take your time.
My client indicates to the 26-year-old lifetime resident of Detroit. He also indicates to his change death. Currently not on probation or parole now. And he understands no contact with his complaint witness. He also agrees that the location of the incident and his address of each complaint, all the way on the left side of the street.
We have his address at the same Kenfield address.
14635 Agnes.
Nope. We have it at the place of the enlisted offense.
Okay, that's the address.
Thank you. Thank you, counsel. Mr. Diggs, the court takes into consideration the information provided by counsel and who has advocated well on your behalf. This is a very serious allegation, sir, and it's an assaultive allegation. Court has concerns that your prior conviction of a similar related nature, which occurred a number of years ago, and the court takes into consideration the age of that matter. You were convicted of a similar related domestic violence on or about September 4th of 2013. Was that against Miss Robinson?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Diggs, the court notes that that was against an alleged separate individual, but the court has concerns regarding that conviction. Mr. Diggs, the court notes you have ties to the community, the current epidemic facing the nation. The court takes into consideration, as well as the allegations set forth in the investigator's report, and employment status as it relates to ability to post bond. As stated, it appears you have ties to the community. Mr. Diggs, the court is scheduling a pre-trial date that you must attend November the 10th. That's a Tuesday, second Tuesday in November, 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Garrett. That hearing will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. Before you're released, you'll get information on how to connect for that Zoom hearing, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. During this bond, you are not to use any alcohol, no marijuana, and no illegal controlled substance. You are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon. Do not go back to the area or premises of 15309 Kentfield, Detroit, Michigan. Understood? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Diggs, also during this bond, no contact with Jocelyn Robinson, which means no contact of any kind. No contact orally, in writing, through a third person, at her place of residency, employment, or through any forms of social media. No contact with Jocelyn Robinson. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
And based on the prior conviction and the information alleged investigators report serious nature of this allegation, you're to be fit with the GPS tether prior to release. Your bond is a $10,000 personal bond. You're released on a personal bond, Mr. Diggs. Good luck, sir. Listen to the court. You're welcome. And, Brother Counsel, they added one to the list. Do you know if Mr. Reagan knows about it? Hassan Cooper. I appreciate that, sir. Okay. All right. Thank you. I wonder if we can. We'll hopefully get those done before we finish. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Jacob Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. And you're here, sir, for case 2004576, People State of Michigan versus DeCoven Charles Taylor, also known as DeCoven Taylor. Counsel.
Yeah, Brandon Bird on behalf of DeCoven Taylor. My client waived his right to form legal. Understands his constitutional rights, so stand mute.
Court waive formal reading and her plea of not guilty. Mr. Taylor, the court scheduling a pretrial day, sir. You must attend November the 10th, which is Tuesday. That's at 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Garrett. That hearing, Mr. Taylor, will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. You'll get information on how to connect for that Zoom hearing before you're released, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Not guilty. Please enter Esteban. Thank you.
They got 3 people.
Thank you, brother counsel. What do you do at the high school, Mr. Taylor?
Can you say it again? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What do you do at the high school? What do you do for work at the high school?
I don't work in high school. I work at Detroit Chassis.
Somebody pull them out.
Oh, I thought you said high school. Oh, okay. Okay, Mr. Taylor, what do you work at? Where at? I apologize.
Detroit Chassis Factory, auto plant, Ford.
Thank you, no worries. Mr. Taylor, thank you for that information. The court has considered the information provided by your attorney, Mr. Taylor, who's advocated well on your behalf. The court's as unaware of any capious history or criminal convictions against you in the past, Mr. Taylor. You have had lengthy ties to the community, as according to counsel. The court considers your employment status as it relates to ability to post bond, as well as the current epidemic faced in the nation. The court's also read and reviewed and considered the information alleged in the investigator's report. Mr. Taylor, during this bond, you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon. No weapons. Do not go back to the premises or area of 2740 Collingwood, Detroit, Michigan. Understood?
Yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Taylor, during this bond, absolutely no contact with Socorro West. That means no contact of any kind. No contact orally in writing through a third person at her place of residency, employment, or through any forms of social media. No contact with Socorro West. Is that understood?
Yes, it is.
And Mr. Taylor, if the court releases you on a personal bond, do you have any issues following the court's order?
No, I do not.
Given the information placed on the record, bond on this matter will be set. $10,000 personal bond. You're being released on a personal bond, Mr. Taylor. Listen to the court, sir, so you don't get locked up simply for not listening. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Good luck, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Next one.
Hey, he was all over it. Smarty, the smart one up in front of us. I didn't know he
They need to pay attention.
Mind you step to the Lord God, say your first and last name?
Thank you.
Marlon Myers, how you doing today?
Doing well, Mr. Myers. How are you doing? Okay, thank you. Mr. Marlon Myers, your full name one more time, sir.
Marlon Jerome Myers Jr.
Thank you. You are here for case 200456767, People State of Michigan versus Marlon Myers. Counsel. For waive formal reading under plea of not guilty, Mr. Myers, the court scheduling a pre-trial date, sir, that you must attend November the 10th, 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Garrett. That hearing, sir, will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. You'll get information on how to connect before you're released, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Do you understand? Thank you. Not guilty is entered as the bond.
Very serious allegations. I would like you to take
Thank you, Brother Counsel. Mr. Myers, this is a very serious assaultive allegation. The court takes into consideration not only the information provided by your attorney, but your ties to the community, your lack of criminal convictions or capious history the court's aware of, the current epidemic facing the nation, as well as your employment status as stated by counsel as it relates to ability to post bond. Courts also had an opportunity to review and consider the allegations set forth in the investigator's report, as well as stated the current epidemic facing our nation. Mr. Myers, during this bond, you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon, and do not go back to the premises or area of 12946 Grandmont, Detroit, Michigan. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Myers, absolutely no contact with Diamond Crawford during this bond. Means no contact of any kind. No contact orally, in writing, through a third person at her place of residency, employment, or through any forms of social media. No contact with Diamond Crawford. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Myers, before you release, given the information alleged in the investigator's report, you're to be fit with a GPS tether given the concerns the court has regarding the safety of Miss Diamond Crawford. Your bond will be set $10,000 personal bond. You're going to be released on a personal bond, Mr. Myers. Listen to the court, sir, so you don't get locked up for not listening. No contact with Miss Crawford. No weapons. Make sure and attend a court hearing November the 10th. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Myers.
What's up, man? 18 still, I
Good afternoon. Your name, please.
Thomas Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Sir, you are here for case 2006131, People State of Michigan versus Thomas Ford, also known as William Thomas Ford, Thomas William Ford. Brother Counsel. For a waive formal reading under a plea of not guilty, we'll get to the court dates in a moment as to bond.
no prior assault criminal convictions. He works with Warren Detailing, and he is currently not on probation at the road. His parents received a very serious assault allegations, so we expect to ask the court for a personal bond. And the court not to grant a personal bond.
Thank you, Counselor. Mr. Ford, the court's going to schedule 2 court dates, sir, that you must attend them both. Probable cause conference will be scheduled November the 2nd, which is a Monday. You have a right to a preliminary examination the following Monday, November the 9th. They're both at 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Jones. Both of those hearings, sir, will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. You'll get information on how to connect if you're able to make bond, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Do you understand? Yes? You have to, it's your responsibility to connect for those hearings on time. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Anything further, Esteban? Thank you. Mr. Ford, the court takes into consideration the positive advocacy provided by your counsel. The court has concerns not only regarding your prior criminal convictions, but the very serious assaultive nature of these allegations. Court considers your ties to the community, employment status as stated by counsel as it relates to ability to post bond, as well as the current epidemic facing our nation. Court also takes into consideration the information the court's reviewed and allegations alleged in investigators' report. The allegations are extremely serious and assaultive, sir, and the court has great concerns regarding the alleged victim of Tracy Miller. It's alleged not only did you assault the individual by punching multiple times in the head and the face and knocking the individual to the floor, but allegedly produced a knife and cutting the individual on the right side of her neck and throat, which is extremely serious, and the court has reviewed the length of the investigator's report and has concerns regarding Ms. Miller's safety. During this bond, sir, you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon, including knives, and do not go back to the premises or area of 12001 Foss, Detroit, Michigan. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
And absolute, thank you. No contact with Tracy Miller. To be clear, no contact means no contact of any kind. Orally, no contact orally, in writing, through a third person at her place of residency, employment, or through any forms of social media. Absolutely no contact with Tracy Miller. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And based on the allegations set forth in the investigator's report, the alleged numerous injuries that were suffered, which is concerning to the court regarding Ms. Miller's safety, and the information placed on the record, bond on this matter set in the amount $8,000, 10%. Good luck, Mr. Ford. Welcome. We got three males. We have. Okay, the other two we have. If you got Cooper done, then Carrington and Shimerham. So number 7 and 12 on the list, sir. Thank you. Did they call back from administration? No. Thank you. Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Your name, please? I'm well. Thank you. I'm well, Mr. Cooper. Thank you. One moment, sir. Your attorney's on their way in to for the representation. So just hold tight. One moment, sir.
The only other person we need to interview is the Sherman. I believe he can interview right now.
I appreciate you, counsel. So this is Mr. Cooper whenever you're ready, sir. This is case 2006163, People State of Michigan versus Hassan Dwayne Cooper. Mr. Cooper, your name again, please?
Hassan Dwayne Cooper.
Appearance?
Yes, sir. Remember on behalf of Hassan Cooper, my client wages right before I'm reading.
Court will waive formal reading in her plea of not guilty. Court will get to the court dates in a moment as to bond.
As to bond, Your Honor, my client indicates that he's a 28-year-old lifetime resident of Detroit now. He also indicates to us that he had no prior criminal convictions. So he's currently not on probation and parole. He has completed some college. He's employed at Bad Hatter Bistro. And this incident is almost a year old now. Respectfully, these are very serious allegations, very serious allegations.
Mr. Cooper, the court is going to schedule 2 court dates, so you must attend them both. Probable cause conference November the 4th, which is Wednesday. You have a right to a preliminary examination the following Tuesday, November the 10th. Both 8:30 a.m. at the 36th District Court in front of Judge King. Both of those hearings will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. If you're able to make bond, you'll get information on how to connect for those hearings, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Do you understand? Anything further, counsel? Thank you. Thank you. The court takes into consideration the information provided by counsel, the very serious nature of these allegations, as well as the information alleged in the investigator's report. And the court notes you have ties to the community, no criminal convictions or capious history the court's aware of. And the court takes into consideration your employment status as relates to ability to post bond, as well as the current epidemic facing our nation. Mr. Cooper, the court also takes into consideration the likelihood of conviction. This allegation is an allegation where it appears a video captured the incident, and according to the investigator's report, after being advised of your constitutional rights and during an interview, you allegedly admitted to hitting the victim, leaving the scene of the crash, and not having a valid driver's license. It appears, sir, that you have had 10 prior current suspensions on your driver's license and had no right operating a vehicle at this point in time. No legal right. And that's concerning to the court, Mr. Cooper, that not only were you allegedly operating a vehicle with numerous prior suspensions, but you allegedly admitted to hitting the victim, seeing the victim laying on the street, and then leaving the scene. And that's concerning to the court on a number of fronts. It's concerning regarding your intention to appear and handle this matter. It's concerning regarding the safety of the public. And so, Mr. Cooper, during this bond, sir, you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon. Absolutely no driving. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
And there's no contact with Deborah Blakely. That's the alleged victim. No contact means no contact of any kind. No contact orally, in writing, through a third person, at her place of residency, employment, or through any forms of social media. Absolutely no contact. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
And if you're able to make bond, sir, you're to be... if you're able to make bond before you release, you're to be fit with a GPS tether.
Yep.
Good luck. Thank you for that, counsel. I appreciate that. And that appears to have occurred roughly a year after the alleged incident, after he was taken into custody, and the court takes all of that into consideration. For the reasons placed on the record, the serious nature of these allegations, the concern regarding your intention to appear and handle this matter, and the concerns the court has regarding the safety of the public for the reasons stated, bond on this matter set in the amount $25,000, 10%.
This way, Pooh.
You're welcome. Good luck, Mr. Cooper.
This way, Pooh. You gonna stop at white line for your first and last name?
All right.
Can you put that mask on, fella? You different one?
Yeah.
We'll get you this one, man. Okay.
Good afternoon. Your name, please.
Frederick Schmerhead.
Thank you, Mr. Schmerheim, and good afternoon. Mr. Schmerheim, you're here for case 2006130, People State of Michigan versus Frederick Schmerheim, also known as Frederick Alex Schmerheim. Counsel.
Yes, sir.
Schmerheim. Thank you, sir. Brother Counsel, court waive formal reading under plea of not guilty. The court is scheduling a probable cause conference, sir, that you must attend on November the 10th. That's a Tuesday, 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Giles. That hearing, Mr. Schmerheim, will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. Before you're released, you'll get information on how to connect for that Zoom hearing, but it's your responsibility to connect on time. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Not guilty. It's entered. Anything as to bond. Thank you. Mr. Schmerheim, is a very serious allegation, sir, but it is, as stated by your counsel, non-assaultive. The court takes in consideration the information provided by your attorney, as well as your prior felony convictions, which the court is aware of, and it's concerning. The court also considers the nature of this charge, which, as stated, is serious but non-assaultive. The court considers your employment status, as stated by counsel, as it relates to ability to post bond, as well as the current epidemic facing the nation. And the court's reviewed and considered the allegations set forth in the investigator's report. During this bond, Mr. Schmerheim, you're not to use any alcohol, no marijuana, and no illegal controlled substance. And you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
So absolutely no drugs. And it does not appear you have a valid driver's license, so there's no driving. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Given the information placed on the record provided by counsel, the epidemic facing the nation, bond on this matter will be set in the amount $7,500 personal bond. You're being released. You're welcome. Personal bond, sir. Listen to the court in all aspects. Absolutely no drugs and no driving and no weapons, so you don't get locked back up just for not listening. Does that make sense, sir?
Yes, sir.
Good luck, Mr. Schmerheim.
Thank you.
Welcome. One more male and one female. Did she point at something at you? What was that, a staple remover? That look, it looks like I just bought my nephew's a Pictionary game, and it looks like it's something like that, and you draw in the air, and it comes up on the TV. I haven't seen it yet. I just bought it yesterday. So we'll see how that works. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please.
I'm taking it off.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Carrington. Good afternoon, sir. You're here for case 200456763, People State of Michigan versus Ricky Carrington. Brother Counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. When the world on behalf of Ricky Carrington, plan away direction from the constitutional rights and stand you.
Sir, court waive formal reading and plead not guilty. Mr. Carrington, the court scheduling a pretrial date. Sir, you must attend on November the 10th. That's a Tuesday, 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Bryant. That hearing on November 10th, Tuesday, sir, will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology. Before you're released, you'll get information on how to connect for that hearing, but it is your responsibility to connect on time. Do you understand? Do you understand? Your court. Excuse me?
You say that again? You say that again?
Absolutely. If you can't hear me, let me know, Mr. Carrington. This is very important information, sir. So the court is scheduling a Zoom hearing on November the 10th. That's a Tuesday at 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge Bryant. That hearing via Zoom is an off-site streaming technology similar to what we're using today. Before you're released, you'll get information on how to connect for the Zoom hearing. But Mr. Carrington, it's your responsibility to connect for that hearing on time. Is that clear?
All right. Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
That's not a yes or a no. There we go. Not guilty is entered as the bond.
Fine, now, my client in the case, they used to 30-year lifetime recommendation here.
Thank you. The court, Mr. Carrington takes into consideration the information provided by your attorney. Lack of capious history or criminal conviction the court's aware of. The court takes into consideration the current epidemic facing the nation as well as employment status as it relates to ability to post bond. All information provided by counsel, the serious nature of this allegation, which is non-assaultive, as well as the information alleged in the investigator's report, as well as the likelihood of conviction. It's alleged but not limited to, sir, that you were found inside of the location slumped over one of the chairs in the lobby. Mr. Carrington, during this bond, there's no use of alcohol, no marijuana, and no illegal controlled substance. Is that understood?
Yeah.
Yes or no, please?
Yeah.
Mr. Carrington, yes or a no, please?
I said yeah.
And that's not a yes or a no, Mr. Carrington. You're being recorded, and then we can't take down recordings of yes and nas. So please, yes or a no.
Yes.
There
sir.
we go.
Yes, sir.
No, thank you. Mr. Carrington, no alcohol, no marijuana, no illegal controlled substance. And during this bond, you are not to purchase or possess a firearm or any dangerous weapon. No weapons. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Thank you. And you are not to go to the premises or area of 15363 Livernois, Detroit, Michigan. Is that understood?
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes,
Carrington.
sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Given the information placed on the record, serious nature of this allegation, lack of criminal convictions or capious history, current epidemic facing the nation, your bond will be set $7,500 personal bond. You're being released on a personal bond, Mr. Carrington. Make sure and attend that Zoom hearing November the 10th. Listen to the court so you don't get locked up for not listening. Good luck.
All right, come on.
You're welcome. Officers, thank you. Do we have an email? Or we're going to meet you on the female side. How about that? See on the female side. Invite. 1 second. One more, everybody. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name, please.
Tina Marie Nolan.
Good afternoon, Miss Nolan. Miss Nolan, you're here for, thank you, ma'am. You're here for case 2006129, People State of Michigan versus Tina Marie Nolan, identified in the complaint as defendant 2. Letter counsel. If we could, Miss Nolan, can you hear me okay, or is there some commotion that's going on?
I can hear you okay.
Okay.
I heard that. What was said before that, was that in your background, or were you talking to me?
Oh, that was your attorney speaking. He asked the court to enter a plea of not guilty and waive your formal reading, which the court will do. Waive formal reading of the information and enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Ms. Nolan, the court's scheduling a probable cause conference that you must attend, and it's scheduled Tuesday, November the 10th. That's at 8:30 a.m., 36th District Court in front of Judge King. Ms. Nolan, that hearing will be heard via Zoom. That's an off-site streaming technology similar to what we're using today. Before you're released, you'll get information on how to connect for that Zoom hearing, but it's your responsibility to connect on time, November the 10th, in front of Judge King at the 36th District Court. Do you understand?
I do that from home, or I Zoom?
Yes, Miss Nolan, you can do it from anywhere you like, but you can use maybe a smartphone or a computer or a laptop or some form of technology. It does not sound like you're familiar with the technology. So, Miss Nolan, you're going to get information before you're released on how to connect. The court recommends not waiting until the last moment, because if you cannot figure it out and you're unable to connect on time, there's a likelihood you'll get a warrant for your arrest and possibly locked back up just for not showing up for that virtual hearing. It's very important you figure it out and connect on time, understand?
Absolutely. My daughter's very good. She'll do it with me.
Well, it's good to have her around. Not guilty is entered as to bond. Thank you. Ms. Nolan, this allegation is a very serious allegation. It's a felony allegation. So it's very important you listen to the court so you don't get locked up for not listening. During this bond, there's no use of alcohol, no marijuana, and no illegal controlled substance. Is that understood?
Yes.
Thank you. The court takes into consideration the information provided by your attorney, ties to the community, lack of criminal convictions or capious history in the past. The court has read and taken into consideration the allegation and investigator's report, as well as the information alleged in the charge in the complaint, which is serious but non-assaultive. Court's unaware of any prior convictions or capious history. Court takes consideration employment status as relates to ability post bond, as well as the current epidemic facing the nation. For those reasons, Ms. Nolan, you're going to be released on a $3,500 personal bond. You don't have to post any money. You're going to be released on this allegation. Listen to the court. Show up for Zoom. No drugs or alcohol. Good luck, Ms. Nolan.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Officers, we have any males or females at 48 hours that you're aware of that can't wait till tomorrow morning? Thank you.